Welcome back. I am theundj, and this is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. We have another episode. There's more craziness out there, and I found it. You ready? Let's get started.
These ATM customers had no idea about cash trapping, but police want everyone to pay attention to what they call a new crime trend. The San Marino Police Department released this flyer showing how it works. Police say a cash trap is a long metal cover and it is placed over an ATM's cash slot. When the trap is on the machine, no money can come out. After a customer puts in their information and is waiting for their cash, it appears the machine didn't dispense money, but really it is trapped behind the cover. Your account has less money, but it is not in your hands. San Marino police say local banks reached out to them about cash trapping, and they also discovered it is happening in nearby cities. Police say before using an ATM, inspect the card reader for any skimmers or loose parts. Another way of also trying to take information. Also, they say check the cash slot and make sure you can see where the bills will be dispensed. And if something looks off, use a different machine and report it to the bank or business right away.
You know how I do. When I find it, I share it. It's not just there, it's kind of moving everywhere. So be careful when you hit these ATMs. Just take a quick minute to check, make sure there's no scams going on. Times are getting crazy, which means everyone's getting desperate. Protect yourself, protect your money.
SpaceX want to put 1 million AI data centers into orbit. You heard that correctly. This is the Earth today. Around 15,000 satellites in orbit, and about 2/3 of them belong to a single company, SpaceX. From the ground, on a really dark night, you can maybe catch 2 or 3 of them drifting past. But if SpaceX's plan goes ahead, our orbit will be transformed into something like this. It's called AI-1, and as Starship pulls away, it starts to unfold. Fully extended, it's about 70 meters from tip to tip. And if that's not already terrifying enough, your night sky will be transformed to look like this. More machines crossing the sky than actual stars. You will never see the Milky Way again. And this gets seriously dangerous. They will be spaced out like this, each one separated by about 24 kilometers, orbiting as a grid in these massive shells. If 2 of them ever collide, it could set off a huge chain reaction, trapping us on Earth for good.
This is one of those things that I hope is not real. Unfortunately, it is. This could happen. It's not going to happen, but it could. All it takes is one little catastrophe, and then it becomes a chain effect. So, we don't know what SpaceX is doing because SpaceX is, they're kind of groundbreaking. Let's just hope they don't trap us here, and let's hope they don't destroy the one place we are at versus where they're trying to take us to. I don't want to destroy Earth looking for Mars. Just because AI is here, don't forget that green screen used to work just fine, and it will still fool us. Don't get caught up in the new toy. Don't forget there's green screen, there's CGI, there's deep fakes. They've been doing this in different variations. AI is just a new boy. That's it. Just a new person around, and it's a prodigy. It's better at it. Kind of. So don't forget that fooling you did not just start with AI. It's been going on for decades.
Pentagon facing major questions tonight about reports of American sailors jumping overboard from the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has now been deployed in the Middle East for 266 days. It's about 9 months deployed. 250 of those days, not even with a land stop. This is because they are in the middle of Trump's war with Iran. And that war is taking a toll on sailors aboard who've complained about not having enough food. They've literally gone hungry. And we've heard these complaints, the lack of basic necessities. That includes toothpaste, deodorant, soap. And all of those things add up with an incredibly long deployment that keeps getting extended to dangerously low morale. There are 5,000 American sailors on board. But tonight, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is denying the reports, saying they're simply untrue. Listen to what he told Newsmax when questioned about the reporting while traveling in Panama.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody.
I believe the family and the soldiers, and this is coming from their mouth. I fact checked this. I didn't want to believe it, but we're not taking care of our soldiers out there. They are considering jumping overboard, and some of them actually have done it. This is a true story. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to believe the soldiers themselves and their families. They are not happy. They are not taken care of. This is not good. If we're going to have them out there fighting for our freedom, we need to take care of them. Simple.
Get this, every cell in your body has the potential to become brain tissue. That might sound like science fiction, but researchers can take a sample of your skin, blood, hair, or teeth, revert those cells into an embryonic state, and then grow them into tiny clumps of human neurons called brain organoids. I visited labs where these mini brains are being connected through electrodes, guided through video games, dosed with drugs, and even used to control robots. From my office in LA, I remotely zapped a culture of living human neurons at Cortical Labs in Australia and watched it respond from 8,000 miles away. A neural culture in this lab has already learned how to play video games like Pong and Doom. Researchers say organoids could transform drug testing and eventually create computers that are adaptable, energy efficient, and self-repairing because they're alive. As for sentience and consciousness, that's where things get a little gray. You don't need permission to experiment on brain organoids because from a bioethical perspective, they aren't people. They're not even animals. But if organoids someday graduate from their current bee brain size to, say, a mouse brain size, this protocol will have to evolve. Trouble is, scientists have yet to come to an agreement of where exactly to draw that line. Until then, let's just get back to playing video games.
Just to make sure you were paying attention, there's artificial intelligence, and they're calling this organoid intelligence, made from us. And they're growing what they call mini brains. And if these mini brains become self-aware, we might have another situation on our hands. AI just got here, and they're already trying to trump AI. They're already trying to outdo AI. I love people, don't get me wrong, but boy, are we ambitious. We will not stop. We won't pause. We won't take a break, a nap, a juice break, something. We just did AI. We haven't even done what we need to do with that yet, and we've moved on to trying to grow real intelligence. Look it up. It's real.
I think their goal is to kill us, depopulation. They got to get rid of about 90% of us so they can live their happy fucking lives that they got planned.
Do you think
for
it goes
themselves.
that
Oh, I
deep?
do. I know it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a UN agenda. It was 21 and now it's 30, depopulation. And they take bets on how we're going to die, and then they get, their stock goes up. They go, oh, this many people are going to die from this shot, and so they invest in it and get a bonus. And this many people are going to die from the cancers that we also have the cure for, and we get the money from the treatment. It's Auschwitz. It is 100% wall-to-wall Auschwitz, and that was their blueprint, and that's what I think. Absolutely.
How can you substantiate that?
Fact. If you go to... if you line up fact, and I can send you, I can't sit here and roll it off the top of my head, but yeah, I've kept records, and I can send it to you. just by what they do, by just listening to Klaus Schwab and the WEF, just rolling it down all the way from every UN act. Everything that they do is to decrease the population. And they say it right in our face. Well, they
is
don't.
It just useful idiot
Yeah,
shit? Well,
it's
they
just useful idiots.
need them.
Well, of course they do. Canceled and destroyed and put in prison for
Yes.
22 years. I mean, that is the fascist
talking about
machine.
January 6th.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But they took a picture and they're in there for 22 years. Yeah, it is a fascist, complete militarized state.
Unfortunately, I kind of agree with this. There's a lot of us here, according to what they say. If there's 8 billion people here, there's not enough resources for all 8 billion, which means we need to downsize. You can't just go around doing it like we've seen in history where they just start mowing us down. That's not going to work. So you have to let us do it to ourselves. And how do you do that? Through whatever you release. You let go of the food, you let go of the products, the technology, and you let us destroy ourselves. We're good at it. Nobody can take us down like us. Just give us the tools and we would do it ourselves. So be careful out there. Make sure that the things you do help with longevity, help with happiness, help with balance. Don't let them take you down. Be part of the 4 billion that's going to still be here when they finish downsizing.
Water is the next crypto. Water is the next gold. I mean, really smart guys. The families like the Rockefellers have been buying up water rights for 100 plus years.
This billionaire is calling water the next gold, and Goldman Sachs agrees, especially with the AI supercycle. So if you want to invest in water, here are the best ways to play it. The first is FIW. This holds about 36 companies and is the cheapest of the water ETFs. The next is American Water. This is the giant. It's merging into the biggest water utility in US history. The next is Xylem. They do the pumps and meters. This is the real AI angle. And lastly is Watts Water. This provides valves and leak detection. And please follow me for more investing content.
Well, you see, I included this content because water is becoming increasingly more important. And if they're going to sit there and monetize it, I wanted to give you the tips that seem like they might pay off if you throw some money that way. This is Dan Pena. And no, he is not a billionaire. He's a half a billionaire. Good enough. Anybody who has 500 million, they have my attention. I will listen to you about money. If he's saying that water is the next gold, it's because water is the next gold. He's not guessing. He's not hoping. He's not predicting. He knows it. And everything is showing that water is not going to be cheap very, very soon. It went from being free to costing money, and now it's going to be expensive. Get ready.
The people who make money on our private data never want to give up their own privacy.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about. A question basically of what information Facebook's collecting, who they're sending it to, and whether they ever asked me in advance my permission to do that.
Mark Zuckerberg making a joke on privacy that did not exactly land with the audience there.
I know that we don't exactly have the strongest reputation on privacy right now, to put it lightly. But I'm committed to doing this well and to starting a new chapter for our products.
A lot to unpack.
So the tech billionaires do not give their children the screens. The tech billionaires do not allow their cameras and everything to be shown. They tape them up, or they have their own special one built without them. The tech billionaires don't want to share their information. They don't want us to invade their privacy. But for whatever reason, it seems to be perfectly fine to do it to us. Talking about, a God complex. Don't do what I do, do as I say. This is not cool. If they don't want to do it, what makes them think we do? The difference is we don't have a choice, and they do. But they know this is wrong. That's why they don't partake in their own products.
I'm building a TV station basically, inside of a building in Virginia. And it's going to be daily news as a daily news channel, except we're going to, like the schizophrenic where there's like the red thread that connects everything. We're in a non-schizophrenic way. We're going to show you how everything is actually connected, what's being used as a distraction, every single piece of the news, every single day, all of the psyops and the manipulation that's happening throughout the media, throughout the global events, the geopolitics that are going on, and then what's being used as a distraction, who's gaining money from this. This politician, this thing happened over here, but this politician went missing 3 days right before it happened. We're going to try to go into like everything, and it's just fact-based only, no opinion, no crazy theories or anything like that. We'll never take guidance or direction from any marketers or advertisers. We have an open records policy where our entire bank account will be open to the public. And we have a policy that an instant public policy that if any correspondence or documentation ever asks us to change a narrative or modify something that we're saying, we make it public instantaneously. And that isn't like, even somebody says they're sending us a confidential email, it's on our terms of use. Like if you email us, you agree that that's going to be made public. So I've tried to make it transparent, but I want to make it in a way that's showing you the theater. Like instead of just watching the news, you'll still get the news every day. We have a news desk, a news anchor, a research team, all that kind of stuff. But we'll also have like, here's the theater part of it. Like I'm going to open the back door of the Truman Show a little bit. So you'll get 10x the amount that you'll get from any Fox, MSNBC kind of news.
That's so valuable because I remember having this conversation with my mother at the time while she was alive. So like the Ghislaine Maxwell trial's going on, but at the same time they wheel out Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So Ghislaine Maxwell, that trial is closed, and Amber Heard and Johnny Depp are a public trial. Like, there you go. There's the red thread. Yeah. Look over here. Never mind this.
This sounds amazing. And I'm going to have to file it under I'll believe it when I see it. Everyone starts out hoping that they're going to do the right thing. Starting out the business, we're going to make a difference in the world. I'm not going to say everyone, but most people, when they start their dream, it's to make a difference. It's to do something positive. And then when the money starts to come in, that's when the darkness starts to settle in. So if they start out like this, awesome. If they stay like this, then that's transcendent. It hasn't been done. I really hope that there's going to be a transparent news station at some point.
Video gamers have a new quest: help patrol the nation's skies. The Transportation Department says the FAA hired more than 2,000 gamers to train as air traffic controllers, meeting 94% of their hiring goal. But why video gamers specifically, you might be asking? Former air traffic controllers said gaming requires many of the same skills they use on the job, like quick thinking, staying focused, and managing multiple sources of information while guiding more than 80,000 flights to their destinations daily. The U.S. Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, said the department will be targeting gamers to work as air traffic controllers back in April. So this was to help with the shortage of air traffic controllers after the U.S. Government Accountability Office released a report saying it could lead to more flight delays or cancellations. And data from 2024 showed that air traffic controllers, they make about $144,580, but that depends on their location and their experience. There is a rigorous application process. You must be a U.S. citizen, be under the age of 31, and you have to pass the FAA air traffic pre-employment tests.
Fact checked. And this is a real thing. Apparently, these games are so real that the people who play them and they're really good at them have real skills because of them. And now, air traffic controllers are looking. They are looking to hire these people. Go get that money. $150K? Yeah, go get that money. It'll help you play them games a little bit longer with a lot more money in your pocket. Go get it.
Anything you have seen in a movie, they exist. And now they're actually admitting it. They say, oh, there's a jinn who look like praying mantis. There's a jinn who look like a gorilla, look like this, look like one look like a... And if you look at all the bugs under the microscope, their face is actually open, like in the horror movies. where their teeth are not like sitting teeth, their actual mouth opens, and from there they eat. And they show them in the horror movies. But we said before, look at the logic of the heavens. If Allah is letting you to see that in a movie, do you think it's not in existence? That you have the ability to understand or see something that Allah hasn't created? You're like a computer that makes your own software? Or your software can only operate what's been put into it. You only see what Allah allows you to see from His creation, and all of it exists. And as a result of that training, what then Sayyidina Zulqarnain is understanding is that he has to make a barrier. Means he has to be versed in the ability on how to keep that marada away from people.
A lot of people tend to not understand that most things came from somewhere. Most stories, most movies, most characters, they came from somewhere. Now, this particular person chooses to use religion as the backbone of his opinion. I didn't put the clip on here for religion. I put it on here for the opinion that most of the things you see in movies most likely exist. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying I believe it because it came from somewhere. And I found out a long time ago that if you do a movie that has the government in it in any kind of capacity, they have to sign off on it. And some of the movies I've seen, I can't believe they signed off on it. But they did. Why? I don't know. But to me, if they wanted to sit there and gauge our reaction to a certain scenario or a certain being showing up, show it in a movie and then watch our reaction and watch on TikTok to see how everybody goes on and starts talking about it. This is how you can gauge whether or not we're going to receive information well or not well. If they think it's going to cause chaos, they keep it to themselves. If they think we're ready, they release it. And that's why I think the aliens thing is starting to be released now, because we're ready, finally. But they've been here.
What you are looking at is security footage from a local pub in a town in Maine. Now everybody's having a good time drinking. Pay attention to the guy in the white shirt, because this footage right here left the cops totally confused about what happened. Look at that. Now this is not a glitch in the camera system. Look how everyone's reacting when this happens. Now one of the confusing things is, why did everybody stare at the same time right before this happened? The witnesses do not remember staring. All they remember was this guy disappearing. Look at that. Now possibly all at one time everybody got possessed by something strange. Or maybe this is the rapture.
I'm no computer whiz. There's a very simple technique to find out if a video was created with AI or if it's just a real video. These are the videos that I include in mine. So this is not AI, according to the check. Then what is it? I don't know where he went, and his clothes went with him. Let me know.
How many people do you know personally who have died suddenly and mysteriously in the past 5 years? I have personally known 8 actors, all of whom I have worked with.
A reporter asked Randy Quaid, what was it like putting out your Star Whackers theory when nobody believed you at all? He replied, they all said I was crazy just to cover up the truth. Back in the 1990s, Randy Quaid became a well-known Hollywood actor starring in classics like The Last Picture Show, The National Lampoon series, and Independence Day. He even earned an Oscar nomination and had an absolutely enviable career at his peak. But after the 2000s, his career started falling apart really fast. At the same time, he and his wife got tangled in multiple legal troubles one after another, including tax evasion, unpaid debts, and trespassing incidents. The media kept blasting their stories nonstop, and his public image hit rock bottom. Everyone thought he was just another celebrity drowning in personal problems, until Randy dropped a shocking claim that blew everyone away. He publicly stated that there's a secret organization in Hollywood called Star Whackers. This group profits by manipulating manipulating public opinion, creating financial disasters for celebrities, and even orchestrating their deaths. He insisted that he and his wife were also targets of this organization, which is why they kept running into endless troubles. He went on to attribute the deaths of many late superstars, including Heath Ledger, David Carradine, and Michael Jackson, to this exact conspiracy. But back then, mainstream media painted him as mentally unstable and claimed he was just talking nonsense. Because of these public statements, Randy was gradually pushed out of mainstream Hollywood and lost almost all of his job opportunities. To this day, when people look back on what he said, it turns out the whole situation is way more complicated than it seemed.
He was up there, and he was famous enough to know. I don't think he's guessing. And these celebrities, when they try to speak out, it never goes well. It's not until it's too late that we start to listen to what they were saying. Hopefully, we'll kind of revisit the things he was saying, because he's been screaming this for a while. He's never said anything about Illuminati. He's always called it Star Whackers. I can't say I don't believe him. I know enough to know I know nothing. I am not a celebrity. I don't know any celebrities. You don't know what's going on behind that veil.
Kid in detention right now is worth $1,200 a day.
Say that again for the people.
A kid in detention right now is worth $1,200 a day.
It's just as big of a business as adult being in prison.
Yeah. It's a huge business.
Yeah, it is. And it's even more. See, they hike up the kids. They hike up their value because they claim, well, you know, we have to have more staff to take care of kids because we have to have therapists and all this. But they're just not getting that treatment. But it is now over $1,000 a day.
Good news, aka bad news, you guys might want to stop investing in the Powerball. We are now combined with the UK, meaning all of our money, if somebody wins it over there, goes over there. Does not stay in circulation here, but on top of that, why the fuck would we be with the UK on lottery? We are clearly drowning in debt as a society, as a nation. So just a forewarning, stop putting your money into the lottery because chances just drop dramatically, adding an entire other country.
2 short clips that are true. Fact checked. Yeah, these kids are worth a lot when they're in the system. And they start out being worth a lot in the system as children, and then they go on to be worth more as adults. So be careful. Watch your kids. Don't let them get caught up in this. This price tag is so huge that the government has no problem locking them up. So keep your eyes on them. And as for the second one, I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, Powerball, we're going international with it. So if somebody wins and they're not in the country, then all of that money leaves the economy. Yay.
It seems like something all of us are really experiencing with social media now, but this is not a medical term, so tell us a little bit about it.
Exactly. And yes, we've all probably experienced a little bit of popcorn brain, but it is not a medical term. It's actually a popular trending term. And really, it was described in 2011 by a computer science professor. He kind of coined this term or definition. And what it is essentially being so hooked on digital multitasking that you begin to lose interest in the more slower paced, routine, everyday activities that define our lives. So hobbies, time with our friends, regular routine things that we might do. And so our attention is really just very quickly being pulled from one thing to the next, much like popcorn popping in a bag. That's what's happening in our brain. And so let me give you an example, Rachel. You're on your phone shopping on an app. You get a notification from another app. You get a text from a friend who says, look at my pictures on Instagram. You're scrolling on Instagram, all the while you're watching a video on your phone, which my kids now told me you can actually do at 1.5 to 2 times the speed. And that's something that people are doing too. So yeah, so I didn't even know that was something people did. But essentially what's happening is you're rewiring your brain for those dopamine hits every time you see a headline or you get a like. And so the dopamine hits become less in your real world life. And so what signs can you see? Well, really decreased focus or concentration, decreased ability to retain information, loss of interest in things that don't involve a screen or a phone, fatigue, decreased ability to manage or regulate your emotions. And teens particularly vulnerable to this because their brains have not developed. We know that until the age of 21, their brains are still developing. So
yeah, it's both the mental and the emotional, as you point out, like being on this roller coaster. And I think most people want to be tethered back.
Right.
So what do you do?
Well, the first thing is let's think about just going back to how life was before we had a screen. So really putting
Beautiful.
your phone,
Mhm.
beautiful, in another room, limiting your screen time, turning off those notifications, and getting back to the things that we always did: reading, being outdoors, playing music, doing arts and crafts, writing, things like maybe in-person connections. So meeting your friend
How
for
about that?
coffee or conversation.
Novel.
And lastly, mindfulness and meditation can really help you to focus your attention again. But
I'm reading books now on paperback, on hardcover, instead of doing it on my phone or somewhere else,
Yes.
because I just think I'm more engaged.
Yeah, take time away from it, and then the meditation.
we
I
have
agree
a
with that.
screen-free holiday for my teens this whole summer.
Oh,
so
that's a great idea.
library card, baking, bicycle riding,
Right.
regular life. Thank
Well, what do you think? Popcorn brain? I'm proud that I am popcorn brain immune. It can't happen. Not to me. My life is far too interesting for the screen to ever trump it, to ever outdo it, to ever take my attention away. When I'm bored or I'm taking a break, I use my phone. And usually I'm looking for clips to come do this. I don't get popcorn brain. My screen gets my attention when I have to give it to it. Other than that, my life is a movie. I go live my life. I suggest you do the same. I hope your week has been good. I hope your weekend is even better. No matter what, move forward, eyes open, ears to the ground. Don't believe everything you hear. And when you believe something, make sure you fact check it. All right? Until the next time, I am theundj. This is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. Oh, and before I go, my shorts have been moved to an entire different channel. I think I'm messing up my analytics. So, you're looking for the shorts, go to the bio, you'll find it. All right? Have a great weekend, and I'm out.